And we're back. Welcome to the podcast, guys. Some big changes coming here. Just from what you can see now, though, you can see the name has changed going forward. Going to be known as the Early Weigh-In Podcast. Tyler and I here have been wanting to do a podcast together for a long time. Going to put a lot more into it. Going to be much more fan interactive. We got some huge plans for it, man. Ty, go ahead and tell them about some of those.
Yeah, I'm excited that we finally get to start this. It's a long time coming. Like you said, we're going to be the Early Weigh-In Podcast. We'll be doing weekly videos about the upcoming fights and talking a little bit about the fights that had happened the previous weekend. We'll be giving you guys bets, fighters to watch, and then we'll also be doing fight companions on Twitch, and that'll give you guys the ability to watch the fights with us live and see how we're betting and how we're doing. And you can kind of ride that emotional roller coaster with us. We also plan on doing a segment show on the weeks where we don't have UFC events, and in those we're going to be talking about just MMA topics, fighters to watch, do some giveaways and fan questions. Really looking forward to it, man. Glad that we finally get to get it started.
Absolutely, man. Also to mention, we are going to try to take this more podcast form as well. So start putting it on some other social medias, be real interactive on our social medias like Twitter and Instagram, but put it in podcast form, man. Try to get it on some Apple Music and Spotify, make it more accessible for those out there just other than YouTube. So, man, we had 2 nights worth of fights that we didn't get to break down. Starting with last Wednesday, we had the Dan Ige and Calvin Kattar card. Pretty good card, man. Had to stay up late for Wednesday, to watch it. But some great fights, and we got introduced to Khamzat on Wednesday night. A bunch of people have looked like championship caliber when you're fighting John Phillips, but super, super high on Khamzat, man. Quickest turnaround in UFC history. You get to talk about him a little bit more for these fights coming up. But, that was an excellent fight. We both cashed on the Lerone Murphy fight. I didn't play him straight up like you did, but definitely knew that fight wasn't going to see the judges. Mm-hmm. I was all over the Jimmy Rivera by decision. I know I was trying to get onto that for a week before I could. Abdul's return didn't go as planned, and then we both knew Calvin Kattar was going to win there. I know we both won pretty big off of that fight. But from Saturdays, any fights you want to talk about from this past Saturday there?
Past Saturday fights, it was the Figueiredo versus Benavidez 2, and we saw from Figueiredo, we saw the exact same thing that happened the first one, but way better. Benavidez didn't really bring anything to the table that I saw. It was a domination for sure for Figueiredo. And then the co-main, Jack Hermansson versus Kelvin Gastelum. Hermansson looked awesome. I really thought that was going to be a lot closer of a fight, but he got in and locked up that knee bar or locked up the knee bar
heel
and
hook or something.
Heel hook, yeah. And finished it really quickly. It really wasn't a competitive fight at all. So
yeah, it wasn't, man. And we both cashed on Askar Askarov. I'm glad I talked you into betting that one there. But yeah, man, the rematch was, not even a rematch there. Maybe Joe's chin just didn't get enough time to heal, or maybe Figueiredo is just that much better, man. But 3 knockdowns in the first round, 3 rear naked chokes, basically. That was one of the most one-sided beatdowns in the first round I think I've ever seen in my life.
It was on par with Khamzat's performance.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, I hate that DJ's not there and Cejudo's retired and stuff, because there's not many people I see beating Figueiredo if he comes out looking like that right now, especially at the 125 class.
I agree. I think there's 2 people in 125 that could do it, and it's Henry and DJ. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, last stop on Fight Island this coming Saturday, and what a fight, especially main event they got for us, man. We got Darren Till and Robert Whittaker throwing down for us Saturday night. Neither of them are ever in boring fights. I think it's a great matchup. I know Till's been calling for this fight for a super long time, and I know he wants it. Man, I'm pumped for this fight. I'm a big fan of both these guys. Anything you want to add before we just start getting into it, breaking it down some?
No, I'm a huge Till fan. I'm not so high on Whittaker.
I know you're not.
he's a little inconsistent with the amount of times that he can fight, pulling out of them. So I've kind of got a bad taste in my mouth for him. So I'm all Team Till this weekend.
Right.
But other than that, no, let's go ahead and jump right into him, man.
Nice, man. So go ahead. I'll start it off here. We got Nathaniel Wood, 16-4, fighting John Castaneda, who's 17-4. I know this was a late change of opponent for Nathaniel Wood. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to fight like Umar Nurmagomedov or something, a much tougher opponent. But Nathaniel Wood, man, he started off 3-0 in the UFC, but he's coming off that fight like we talk about to Dodson. Both of us could agree. Big step up in competition, a little too early for him. Dodson's hard to get your hands on, and when you're, submitting all these guys in UFC and you find that your ground game is really working for you, then you get Dodson and you can't get your hands on him. It's pretty frustrating. He got touched up some, but Dodson's caused a ton of people some problems. As far as Castaneda, he is coming off a submission win, but it might be that one I'm remembering. I think he lost like the fight or two maybe before that. It's a short notice debut. I just don't think he has much for Nathaniel Wood. If Nathaniel goes out there and does what we all know and think he can, I think he cruises for an easy dub. Probably, with another submission win here. I think he'll use his strengths, get it to the mat. He likes the rear naked choke there.
So I'm with you on that. I think Nathaniel Wood, in his UFC career, they really weren't looking out for him in his last fight by giving him John Dodson. I think it's really easy to think that Dodson's washed up at this point, but his last 5 losses are to all title challengers or somebody who has the belt. And then with John, you're right, not much to note about him. I did see that he's only had 3 fights in the past 3 years, and that's something to note. It's a short notice fight. Other than that, I'm with you. I'm going with the Nathaniel Wood first round TKO.
TKO, nice. Yeah. Like you said, 3 fights in 3 years and short notice there. Probably not going to come in with the best of cardio that I can think of. I like Nathaniel Wood. I think he's a lot better fighter, but I don't know if he's going to get it done first round. I think he'll work him a little bit and gas him before the rear naked choke finally sets in. Our second fight there, we got Ramazan Ameev, who's 18-4, fighting Nicolas Stolze, who's 12-3. Currently, Ramazan's a -380 favorite, pretty big favorite to the Stolze's +290 comeback there. What do you think about that fight?
Okay, so one of the biggest things that I saw looking up Ameev, I didn't really know too much about him. I knew that he had fought in the UFC before, but he's fought at light heavyweight before and beat Smiling Sam Alvey. That's a pretty notable win right there, and now he's fighting 35 pounds less. He's going to be the much bigger dude coming in there. He's a monster. His last loss is to Anthony Rocco Martin, which I don't think is a bad beat whatsoever. And then to go on Stoles, kind of unknown to me. I know that he's had some pretty lower level competition in the Germany regional circuit. He did jump up to the Bama MMA promotion, and in the 2 losses that he had in Bama, he lost those. So we've seen him not step up whenever he's needed to, and I think that we're going to see a repeat of that. I've got Ameev by decision.
Nice. Yeah, man. Ameev's he's a nice grappler and striker, former M1 champion. And like you said, the loss to Rocco Martin there, not a terrible loss. Rocco seemed to find his groove. Didn't really show up there against Neil Magny in the last fight, but I don't think the cardio was there. But he was a massive favorite. I think that was like in Russia. Big favorite, and dropped that fight against Rocco Martin. So if the Ameev shows up, like we think he can, I think he grapples his way to a decision there, because Stolze is primarily a striker there. He got a decent sized frame, but you touched on him, man. His resume is garbage. The opponents are nowhere near the level Ameev's been in there with. I think that's a huge factor in this fight. So I'm going to go with Ameev by decision. The next fight, man. Ty, go ahead and start us with that one.
Yeah, so the next fight, it's a women's bantamweight fight, and it's Betch Correa versus Pani Khamzat. Betch, she just lost a close decision against Eubanks, and I thought that was I think that it's the beginning of the end for Betch. I know that sounds that sounds a little premature, but she's been in there for a while, and I've seen her really take some hard hits in the upper level competition. With Pani, her last win is over Jessica Rose Clark. I think that's a quality win, and I think she also has the size and reach advantage over Betch, and that'll play a factor. I see this going how most women's bantamweights go, and I see Pani winning a decision.
Nice. Yeah, man. I really, right there with you. I feel like it's kind of going to, start to be the beginning of the end for Betch there, but you can't really fault her for the fight she's lost. It's people, she's been knocked out and finished by Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm there, and a loss to, Rocky Pennington and Irene Aldana. So Betch has stayed in there with the top competition, so really can't fault her for her losses there. But yeah, man, lost she's only won 2 of her last 7 fights. She's definitely getting up there in age. Pani is just a much better striker. I feel like she's just more technical on the feet, going to use her size and reach there. She's coming off the win against, like you said, Jessica Rose Clark, which I think's a good win in my opinion. I think Betch could come out here and surprise people. I think Betch has some underrated wrestling skills that she might really be put to use. Could make it boring, and just use her weight. Betch carries around a little bit of weight there. She might be able to use it in the clinch and on the ground a little bit, but I like Pani to win that fight. Her losses are to Macy Chason, who's, a 45 and a much bigger girl there, and Julia Avila, who just came in there and starched a girl a couple weeks ago. So not terrible losses, but not a fight that I'm also, really too excited for there. But like you said, probably going to go with Pani by decision. Next one, exact opposite. We got some big boys finally getting in the octagon. We have Raphael Pessoa, who's 10-1, fighting Tanner Boser, is 18-6. Commonality and opponents there, both of them have lost to Cyril Gain, which I told you guys the other day. I don't know if I want to say, 21, maybe 2021, but that's my heavyweight champ there. That's my future of the heavyweight division. So I don't fault either one of these guys for a loss there. I think Boser actually took him to a decision, while Raphael Pessoa did get submitted there with the heel hook, I think. But Pessoa is coming off a win over Jeff Hughes. Jeff Hughes, the fight wasn't really exciting, but Jeff Hughes is by far his best opponent. His resume is garbage. The submission threat's there for Boser. Raphael fights a little long. He uses his range real well. But if Boser goes out there and does what I know he can, he throws a lot of volume. He's been to decision, fought 15-minute fights so many times. I called him a decision machine in my last video on him, and he came out there and just bounced Felipe's head off the canvas with punched him 5 times as he was falling to the ground. A good knockout for him, man. I like that he stayed in camp and he's taking this fight again relatively quick and stuff. Boser's a guy that likes to be in the octagon. He's one that I follow on social media, and he's itching for fights all the time. I can't help but pick him here. I think he's the better fighter. If he can keep Pessoa off of him, I think he's got the much quicker hands, the cleaner striking. Is a much more active opponent that if it does go to decision, I think the volume will win that one. But Tanner Boser inside the distance is always dog odds. And, with heavyweights, it's not bad to play that every now and then. So I might take a look at that on Saturday. What you think on that one?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Not to mention, I'm curious to see how Raphael's chin holds up after that Gaines loss.
Yeah.
We saw, like you said, Boser's coming in short notice, but other than that, he's active as could be. He's stayed in shape, and he's a tank. It's hard to get him out of there. I don't see Raphael outstriking him, and I don't see him necessarily being able to get his hands on him to take him down. Boser coming off that Felipe win, that's his most notable one in my eyes, and I actually picked Felipe and lost some money on that. So I am going with Boser for sure on this one.
Nice, man. Go ahead with that next one.
So Movsar Evloev versus Mike Grundy. So I had to do a little research on Movsar, but great competition in the circuits that he's been in. His competition is much better than Mike Grundy. Mike Grundy is 33 years old right now, which for that division, it's getting up there in age.
Mm-hmm.
Where Movsar is only 26 years old. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. I wish I knew a little bit more about these guys, but I have picked Movsar to win by decision.
Nice, man. Yeah, Masvar, pretty decent favorite at the minus 225. Grundy's at the plus 175, and both these guys 12 wins. Masvar still undefeated. Grundy's got himself just the sole one loss. Like you said, man, with Masvar, a lot of good competition on the regional scene there before coming into the UFC. I'm pretty sure he was an M1 champion. Mixes in his striking and grappling very, very well. The age difference there is something else I like. I really looked at coming off a win over Enrique Barzola, which is a good stepping stone for good fighters. In my opinion, Barzola does pose a lot of good threats. I like Masvar to win this one, but Grundy is Till's like best friend, wrestling coach, something like that. And, two guys vibing in camp like that, I like that, staying injury-free, coming into fight night together after training and stuff like that. He's an excellent wrestler himself, which I'm very curious to see up against, a good Russian wrestler. What's his name? Grundy there also, he coming off a finish in his debut. Not a bad underdog play in there, in my opinion. It's not whatsoever. I've seen a lot of people, put some money on Mike Grundy. I feel like as fight gets closer, I feel like more money's going to come in on him. I don't think it's a bad dog play whatsoever, but I'm with you. I think Evloev's just a better fighter, younger, better with the hands, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing there because both of them are extremely good wrestlers. I think it's a good fight, man. I think we see an exciting clash of wrestlers there on Saturday night.
And just going off of what you said, I'm with you. Movsar, although he has had good competition in the regional circuit, he's still unproven. So to give him those type of odds, I could see how that's the valuable bet in Grundy.
Yeah, absolutely. In the next fight, we got Jake Collier, 11-4, fighting Tom Aspinall, 7-2. Currently, Collier at the plus 175 dog with the favorite there, Tom Aspinall at the plus 225. Collier going up to heavyweight there. He did enter the UFC at a 185, then went to 205. Now he's there at heavyweight. So he's alternated a couple wins and losses there. He's 3-3 since entering the UFC. Can't get on a streak, but you're changing weight classes like that. You really can't expect much. Just constantly being at different weights when you're in there, different energy levels. Different. I wouldn't say style of opponents, but just a different frame of opponents and stuff, man. Not surprising to me that he can't really get anything going. His best opponent, his fault's Devin Clark, which is a light heavyweight that, you don't have to worry about knocking you out. You just got to worry about him wrestling you and crunching you up against the cage for the full 15 minutes. He does have a 6'3" frame, which, for heavyweight, that's good, man. So, 185, awesome. But biggest thing, last fight was in November of 2017, and it was at light heavyweight. So you're going on almost 3 years and not fighting. You're going up a weight class. And in my opinion, you're taking on a bad dude, man. I like Tom Aspinall, 6'5", 250-plus frame, only 27 years old. Brits are as tough as they come, man. And in the heavyweight division, unless you get Curtis Blades or somebody like that, you don't have to worry about your wrestling and stuff. I like Tom Aspinall. I like the good surgence of youth in the heavyweight division right now. Awesome size. In his 9 fights, he's not seen the judges one time. He's got a loss by heel hook, and he shares a loss like John Jones with a DQ 12-6 elbow. So, he's really got one loss, and it's by a heel hook, which I don't say is a fluke, but, sometimes you just, you get caught on the ground. All in on Aspinall here, man. Big fan of him. Comes to throw down. I like him to get it done inside the distance with his hands here. What you think?
I'm with you. Tom's the easy pick for me. You've got Collier going up to heavyweight, like you said. He hasn't found his rhythm in any weight class, and I don't think that he's going to find it here. Heavyweights are big boys, and they're putting him up against Aspinall, who is a big boy for heavyweight. I watched a couple of videos of Aspinall fighting. He has got some quick hands and some quick feet to match it. He's been in a full camp leading up until this, and I think that it'll be I've got first round TKO for Aspinall.
Nice,
So I'm
yeah.
excited for that one.
I think that's got first round TKO written all over it. I know you're hype about the next fight. Go ahead.
All right, let me take over this one. So Nicolas Dalby versus Jesse Ronson. Dalby, I'm high on him. I like him a lot. He's got a win over Alex Oliveira in his last fight. There's a little bit of controversy in that fight because in the third round, they stood him up really quickly, and had Oliveira been on top for the majority of it, you could have seen that go the opposite way. But still, he's competing in there with Alex Oliveira, coming off of a little bit of a layoff. Some other notable wins for him. He's beaten Oleski dos Santos in 2015, and he went to a draw with Darren Till, who's in our main event tonight. Those are both just really impressive fights that he's been in, and I'm pretty high on him. As far as Ronson goes, no disrespect, but I think he's a scrub in comparison. He's 21-10 with a record like that, especially not being proven yet. It's weird that he's in the UFC to me. He has fought in the UFC before. He's got some split decision losses to Kevin Lee and to Francisco Trinaldo. Both of those are somewhat notable, but he lost both of them, and those are the only people that are worth mentioning that he's fought. So I've got this one as Dalby under 2.5 rounds at plus 147. That's actually my pick for the night. If you're going to bet one, that's the one I do.
Nice, man. Yeah, I told you on that one. As soon as you texted me on that one, I was all over it as well. He's finished 3 of his last 4 fights or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Dalby did a little second win there in his career, sitting at a pretty decent sized favorite. So I like the under 2.5 rounds bet more than I do the straight up there. I think there's a ton of value on it. His new, second stint, you could call it, in the UFC, man, was in Copenhagen on the Hermanson and Cannonier fight card. And he came out, man, and it was, like I told you, it was like Till in Liverpool. It was hype, man. Everybody was so hyped for him to come out. It was awesome. Big fan of Dalby. Ronan, new at 170, typically a 55er, went 0-3 the first time in the UFC. And, other than experience of being in the octagon, there's not much there for Jesse, in my opinion. I think Dalby is a bigger fighter and a better fighter. Like him to get it done inside the distance as well.
Agreed.
And, man, is it the main card coming up?
Yeah, card's right here.
Is it Khamzat? Is that the next fight?
Yeah.
I left the notes off on that one, man. So if you got stuff written down, you want to talk about it, go ahead.
Dude, I think last week we saw everything we need to know about Khamzat. I don't think he's going to come in with any different game plan because it worked so well the first time. He's going to go in there, shoot for a takedown, and just beat the shit out of him. I really do think that that's going to happen. Other than that, I really like the guy that's stepping in short notice. His name's Rhys McKee. He was the 155-pound Gamma champion, and then went to Cage Warriors and fought at 170. Where Khamzat, this past weekend, he fought at 185 and is now fighting at his true weight at 170. So Khamzat's going to be the far bigger man. And then Rhys, just a good guy. I watched a video of him getting the announcement that he was going to be in the UFC. He got a little bit emotional, and it's hard not to pull for somebody who, cares so much about this opportunity. So I'd love to pick Rhys, but you would be dumb if you bet against Khamzat.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. That video was awesome. Don't know, don't care. He'll fight anybody. Like it, but yeah, coming up to 170. Typically you'd be worried. A 10-day turnaround, dropping the 15 pounds, but it's Khamzat's typical weight class, what he's used to. So no worries there. And Phillips is a big 85er, man. You go in there and ragdoll somebody like that. I don't see anything different happening. I'm pretty sure I saw it earlier. There's a line out there that's like plus 450 that Rhys gets out of the first round.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I mean,
we should definitely need to keep an eye on that there, man. Or it's like under or over 1.5 is like 450 or something like that, man. It's nice. So
I didn't know that, but that sounds good. I mean, Phillips was able to hang in there for the first round, even though it was close. It probably could have gotten stopped.
Yeah, but short notice. man, I don't know. Does he just get out of there, take his payday? I don't know. I feel bad for Rhys. I wouldn't want to get in there with Khamzat or however you say his name, Khamzat.
Right. Let's hope that he can. Let's hope that he can make it competitive. He's taking it on short notice, so if he can make it competitive, I could see him having a UFC career. But he definitely needs to show us a little bit of something here.
Yeah, man, the stage is set for Rhys this weekend. There's a lot of eyes on Khamzat, so you go in there and you make the fight even competitive, and I think there's a UFC contract waiting for Rhys there.
Agreed.
Done, like you said, man. But I don't want to rush it and say future world champ for Khamzat or anything, but he looked phenomenal, man, and I love the welterweight class. Such a good man to just throw into that mix, Man,
just judging by his fight style, he's a great matchup for the champ, Usman.
Yeah, absolutely, he really is, and for the top dogs like Colby and Leon and stuff, fights just like Khabib. He really does.
Yeah, I think that he'll have a similar path in the UFC where there's going to be a lot of people trying to avoid him, and he's going to get people who don't have the choice to avoid him coming off of a loss, something like that, where the UFC almost forces their hand to fight the best up and comer. He's similar to Zabit or Khabib coming up in the ranks.
So yeah, I mean, I said it on the last podcast. He was like 6-0 coming into Saturday, and in my opinion, I didn't know too much about him. You knew what you were going to get, just a really, really strong grappler. But, he was taking the fight 15 pounds heavier. Still said he was a little green and stuff. But after watching that performance, man, I mean, straight to a prelim main event in your debut, I'm glad Dana White and them must have saw something special in him, man. I really do think the sky's the limit for him. I'm excited to see him.
And you mentioned it earlier. It's the quickest turnaround in UFC history.
Yeah,
10
like
days.
10 days or something like that. Yep, it's fucking awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Next fight, I know we got to play in this fight. We got Francisco Trinaldo, the veteran there, 25-7, fighting Jai Herbert, however you say that, 10-1. They got Trinaldo at the -170 favorite with the comeback on Jai at +140. Man, you got a guy who's 41 and then a guy who's like 10 years younger. Trinaldo at like 5'9", to Jai's like 6'1" frame, which has given Trinaldo a ton of issues in the past. Trinaldo is on that 2-fight win streak. My opinion, it should be 4-fight win streak. He definitely beat Alexander Hernandez. That fight was given to Hernandez because a lot of the hype around him. To be so short and powerful, he goes to decision a ton. He's a tank, but he doesn't really get that many finishes there. There was a lot of good kicks. Never been finished by TKO, so I don't think Jai is going to go out here and put him away. But I do think Trinaldo has shown a lot of issues with tall strikers and stuff, and like for instance with James Vick. Herbert is the Cage Warriors champ and stuff right now, with the lone loss coming to Rhys McKee, who we just talked about there. Jai's on a 6-fight win streak, finished 5 of them. Definitely not fighting the level of competition that Trinaldo's been in there with, and might not have the ground game to keep up with Trinaldo if it goes in there. But if this fight stays on the feet, I like Herbert or Jai, whatever however you pronounce his last name. I like him to keep the distance. I like him to to outpoint him. Use his kicks and his jab to keep him on the distance. I snagged the +140 underdog odds on Jai there. I think just stylistically, the size difference is going to cause Trinaldo some trouble. I like the newcomer to get the win by decision.
So I'm with you. I've got Herbert as well. You've got to note that Trinaldo's 41 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't compete at the highest level in that weight class at 41 years old, in my opinion. You can get away with it when you're in the heavyweight division. It doesn't fly here. Like you said, Herbert, I just found out his nickname. He's the Black Country Banger, and that made me even a bigger fan of him. So I've got Herbert. I don't know much about him. Like you said, he was the Cage Warrior champion, so I give it to him. I will say Trinaldo, the losses that he has had, they're close, and I think that we can see him be a little bit more active this fight. He's going to come out probably if it does go to judges, I know that he's going to want to be the more active fighter because it's cost him in a few of his last ones.
Absolutely has cost him a lot. He's not very active in those. Man, the size difference, the 10-year gap, and then those old Brazilians, man, you never know. They can change so much between fights, and as they get older, it just tends to go downhill pretty quick for them there. So I know we both got to play there on the underdog, try to get it done on Saturday night. I know you got to play on the next one.
Yeah, this next one is big time. Alex Oliveira versus Peter Sobotta. Oliveira is just coming off of a win against Max Griffin. Took quite a bit of damage in that fight, so that's something to watch out for. I like Sobotta. I'm taking him as the underdog bet for sure. He's got a win over Dalby, who you guys know I'm also a fan of, and then he is also his last loss was against Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is about to be the title challenger. He's no slouch, and I don't think that a loss against him is something to hang your head about. He showed that he can compete at that level. I've got Sobotta by knockout.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm back and forth on it. I really don't know who's going to win. Alex is coming off the win. Like you said, took some damage in that one, but I mean, man, let's be honest. He takes damage in every fight. He goes in there and he really does put on a fun fight for us all the time. Hardly ever really goes to decision. Got a very, wild style karate stance, very straight left hand, and he's pretty slick on the ground. For the most part, he's been a very active fighter, got a good resume. But, man, that chin has been very suspect, when Yankee Medeiros is putting you on the canvas multiple times and putting you away. It's kind of worrisome. And the dog odds at plus 145 when I saw it here on Sobotta is not bad in my opinion. Good frame for 170. My only thing, man, is the last loss is to Edwards, but it's in 2018. It's a long layoff. I know it's good for the body, good for the chin. I'm worried that the kicks Alex are going to throw is going to hit that body. I mean, you see all the weigh-in pictures. He's thin in the midsection, man. He's got a big frame for 170. Couldn't put anything on this one. Couldn't put my money in on this fight. I honestly could see it going either way. I think Alex Oliveira is going to win this one, but I'm all over odds. This one not going to the judges. Absolutely. I think we see a finish in this fight.
So just to add on to that, I was talking with one of my friends earlier, and the Sobotta bet, I feel like with that bet, I'm banking on Alex Oliveira's inconsistency as a fighter just as much as I'm banking on Sobotta's skill set. That's why I like the odds. We see a win-win, loss-loss, win-loss, win-win, win-loss with Oliveira all the time. So I'm just banking on him being inconsistent and Sobotta bringing enough to the table to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to play on the next one?
Yeah, so this is the Craig fight, correct?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Paul Craig versus Gadz and Marad Antigulov.
I just call him Gadz.
Gadz. Okay, I like that. So Paul Craig, he's big for the division. Now he's had kind of a rocky stay in the UFC. He's shown that he can get it done at the last minute, even if you think he's gonna
last second.
Last second. If you think he's losing the entire fight for the whole 3 rounds, and then 4 minutes and 59 seconds. There 1 second left in the 3rd round, and he gets it done via triangle. You can't count him out at all. And the Gadz guy he's fighting, he's coming off of 2 KO losses, one of them being to Kutelaba, and it was terrible. So I really question this dude's chin. And then I couldn't believe it whenever I saw it, but this guy's fighting at light heavyweight at 5'9". I thought that bald guy at light heavyweight, Latifi. I thought Latifi was, way too small for that division. And then I see this guy, 33 years old, 5'9" at light heavyweight. Craig being a much bigger guy. I've got Craig hurting him on the feet and then getting a sub. but definitely finishing it before the bell. I've got Craig. What about you?
Yeah, it's a close fight. I think when I looked at the odds, I could be wrong. I didn't write these down, but I think it's close to a pick 'em.
It is a pick 'em,
Minus
-115.
Yeah, Craig's coming off the draw against Shogun. I think he won that fight. He tends to gas a little bit. Craig tends to slow down as the fight goes on. Much bigger guy, man. You just can't overlook that. And where he excels on the mat right there, if it hits the mat, the size is going to be a huge issue. You don't see Craig really going out there and finishing too many guys on the feet, but when the chin's been tested in your last two fights, it kind of worries me a little bit. Gadz he did take about a year layoff though to let it heal. So, man, my money's not going in on this fight. My money never goes in on a Paul Craig fight. I can't, dude. You never.
I put a small amount on Bear Jew. I like his nickname. I think.
But I mean, if there's decent odds of it not going to the judges, I like that. I absolutely don't think this sees the judges. Both of these guys, whether they're getting finished themselves or they're getting people out of there. Neither one of these guys see the judges too often.
Right.
I think I'm going to lean Paul Craig there with you. I like the submission. The submission in there. I think if it hits the mat, he's a little too big. And then, man, next fight, back to the Chicas. Got Carla Esparza, 16-6, fighting the undefeated Marina Rodriguez, who's 12-0. Currently, Esparza's a plus 140 underdog with Marina, the minus 170 favorite. Esparza, man, just like Dalby, kind of hit a little second win in her career. She's won 3 in a row, with the last one over Michelle Watterson at 249, which, not gonna lie, cost me a little bit. I really did think Watterson was going to take that fight kind of easy. But Esparza has shown a great little career resurgence as of late. The hands, I mean, they're not really there, but she's a really good wrestler, man. You know what you're going to get with Esparza. She's going to wrestle you. She's going to put you up against the clinch. But you can't overlook the fact that she's going to be giving up, 4 or 5 inches like Tisha Torres was against this girl here. But Rodriguez is absolutely massive for the strawweight division, and she uses it super, super well. A ton of kicks in her game. The draw to Cavillo, it's there, man. It sucks, but, oh, man, I don't know. I think stylistically, this fight just kind of leans toward Marina's way. I think she had a great showing on the Contender Series, but still real green. This is a good step up in competition for her, I think. After Carla, there's only the elites left there for you to beat. And it's a good test as a girl who's going to test her grappling skills. I think the size is going to help her a ton, though, stopping those takedowns, digging the underhooks. I think the knees and the clinch and stuff could really pose some success for Marina. She's great with the knees. She throws great kicks to keep Carla on her back foot. I think you got to play on Marina. I like to play a whole lot. I really do think she wins this. When I saw somebody snag Marina Rodriguez at a plus 100 odds, so even money there. And if I'm able to catch that there before the fight's on Saturday, I'm going to snag that myself. I like Marina Rodriguez to get that done by this decision.
Oh, yeah, I did place a small bet on Marina. Looking back on it, I kind of am having second thoughts a little bit. I knew that she had the draw to Cavillo, but the more that I think about it, the more it starts to bug me. And then, like you said, Esparza coming off a 3-fight win streak, she's tried and true. Her fights are not fun to watch, in my opinion. She needs the takedown, and she needs to hold you there, and that's how she's going to win the fight. I might go back on it and hedge, take Esparza, and just kind of nullify that bet completely. It's a tough fight to pick. I think the odds are there for Esparza. I mean, if you got Esparza as an underdog, I wouldn't be upset with it.
Yeah, I don't know how useful the bet it would be because the odds are probably not in your favor. But I don't see Carla finishing this fight. So if you just hedge it with it going to decision period, I could see you cashing both ways on that. To be honest with you, I think
I could see it. And you're thinking that because she'd probably outpoint her in the decision because of her striking.
Right, and if Carla wins, it's just going to be a boring sit in her guard.
Yeah.
So if you hedge it, I would just do straight, decision. But
Okay.
that's probably a pretty, heavy favorite. And I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
man, don't mind if I do.
Yeah, go for it,
I
man.
got Fabricio Werdum, 23-9, fighting Gus, man, 18-6. Fabricio is the plus one, 265 underdog. Currently, when I got my play on him, I think it was at the minus 315 for Gus. He's itching to get back in there, and I'm itching to win some money on Saturday night. Gus at heavyweight, I love it. Gus has a great frame, man. He was always big for light heavyweight, with the frame there. Not that heavyweight is his natural class, but something I feel like he can go to very easily, and kind of pick up where he left off. Unless you're fighting Curtis Blades, you're not really, getting threatened with a takedown. And, Jones took him down, did what he needed to. Smith wrestled him at the end and choked him out. I don't think Fabricio was going to be able to do that. I think Fabricio was just too slow on the feet. He cost me so much against Alexei Oleinik. I hate him. How in the hell do you get outstruck that bad by Alexei Oleinik? Maybe it's because you're 40-something and you're a Brazilian who used in performance-enhancing drugs and you were suspended for 2 years. Why I bet on you, I don't know. But, dude, I'm all over Gus here. I think Gus tears his ass up on the feet. The only path to victory is taking him down and putting his big ass on him and submitting him. And, I mean, you couldn't even get your hands on Alexei Oleinik. You look so slow, man. I think Gus is going to be able to keep it on the outside and just point. You literally tag him when he wants to. If this fight stays on the feet, Gus has to finish him, man. I think he hits him way too many damn times. No matter what, though, I got a Gus win here, man.
So let me start off by saying I'm with you. I've got high hopes for Gus at heavyweight. I really do. I saw him with a shirt off earlier this week. He looks big. I mean, he looks somewhat obese. And we saw Gian Vellante go up to heavyweight. I think Gian would have won that fight had he stayed like light heavyweight fit,
right?
But just didn't cut. Because it looked like he gained just so much unnecessary weight, where if you take a look at Gustafsson right now, even at 205, he's not the most muscled up, chiseled 205er. So he's going to go in, and it's probably not going to be good weight that he's putting on. And then add on top that he's a 3-1 favorite against an ex-champion. I know he looked like shit in his last fight, but he was fighting a guy who's known as the boa constrictor. He's got 45 wins by submission. Why the hell would you want to go to the ground with him? I mean, I think it turned out to be a slugfest because neither one of them wanted to go on the ground with each other and see who could get it, and he just lost. Gustafsson is an amazing striker. Probably, he's probably top 10 in the UFC. He's just an amazing striker. I've got him winning. But if Fabricio, the far bigger man and who has much more experience at that weight class, gets his hands on him, I forgot what he is. Is he a 3-time or 4-time BJJ world champion? I forgot what it is, but that could be a problem. And I've been calling Preston crazy this whole week for betting the Gus 3-1 odds. I mean, more power to you because I see it happening, but damn, that's rough for me. I'm not making that bet. I bet like 15 on Werdum.
After watching the Vulcan fight with Fabricio, man, I think the length at the striking range is too much of an issue for Fabricio.
It's a good comparison right there.
I really think, and Fabricio got finished like 4th round or something like that. I like Gus's hands, man, to get it done. I do, but quit talking me out of it.
I like it. I like it. It's just you're crazy, man.
Absolutely, brother. Co-main event of the evening, man. Go ahead.
Fuck. So, okay. Mauricio Shogun Hua versus Antonio Nogueira. Nogueira. Huh?
That's the little Nog, brother.
Little Nog, yes. Yeah. Little Nog. I saw a video of him, and he looks like he's about to break. He's as stiff as a board. Doesn't look good. He really doesn't look good. And I placed a very, very small bet on him just because I like the odds, and I think who has passed his prime. So this is just who gets the KO first. I mean, they're both going to be going for the knockout, in my opinion. They're both kind of washed. I think Hua is definitely the better fighter, but I see Hua getting it done via TKO, and it's going to be really ugly. And we're going to say for like the 4th time in a row that Little Nog should quit.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I'm right there with you, man. Little Nog has lost like 4 of his last 6 and been finished in like 3 of those 4 losses. This is a trilogy fight that Shogun has already won the first 2. So I don't really know why you make this a 3rd fight. Who is coming in at the -190 favorite. How old do you think Shogun is, man?
Off the top of my head, 39.
Close, man. He's 38. Off the top of my head, I say like 41, 42.
See, I almost went higher. I swear I almost topped at 40.
Man, when I think of Shogun, he's been around forever, man. He just must have started at a super young age. Only 38. I know and Nogueira there is probably in his 44, man. 44 years old. Just too slow on the feet. He's taken about a year off after just getting absolutely wrecked by Ryan Spann up against the cage. But say he's past his prime, I know. But, he just finished Tyson Pedro and has a draw with Paul Craig. Much younger guys, in their youth. Much guys that would, in my opinion, destroy Little Nog. I think Shogun gets this one done pretty easy. Both of them's chin's a little suspect, but I think Shogun definitely has the better chin. Not too interested in it, man.
Do you see it going the distance?
No, I don't. I think both of them's chin is too suspect to take a couple good ones at a 205 weight class when they're that old. But I like Shogun to get it done here.
I was listening to another podcast, and they had said that Lyoto Machida, he had a contract with the UFC where if he got a finish, he got like an absurd amount of money, and that was just like a special contract that the UFC had. I would be willing to bet that Shogun has a contract with the UFC where he is a co-main every single time that he fights.
Like that.
Whether it be a fight night or a UFC, you're right. Why the hell is this the co-main event? I don't know why. It's a rubber match that nobody asked for, and I'm with you. I see Shogun getting it done, getting him a little bit more. Not that he needs his name to be made in the UFC, but definitely the more casual fans don't know of him. So maybe this will put him on their radar, and it's a great opponent to get a nice flashy KO and put him back in the spotlight a little bit.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And, brother, we got our main event of the evening. It's such a great fight. We got Robert Whittaker, 20-5, versus Darren Till, who's 18-2. Currently, Whittaker's at the -160 odds, and the Till at like +130 or something like that. I know now it might have even slipped and, be closer to a pick'em. I'm not too sure. I snagged Darren Till super, super early at like the +140, 145 dog when it opened. Robert Whittaker, man, is coming off his first loss at middleweight, first time being finished at middleweight, and only the second time he's been finished in his career. Notably, the other one, Wonder Boy, man, another flashy striker where you really have a ton of tools you have to worry about. I say that to say, where's his headspace at? You never know what kind of headspace that Whittaker's going to be come in with. You hear a lot of people say that there's a ton of weight lifted off your shoulders when you lose that title and stuff, that he might be in the best shape of his life, the best headspace we've seen him in mentally wise. We might see a really good Rob here, man. Being in there with the OL twice, taking those damages and stuff like that. No business fighting Izzy that soon, man. It's you've taken so much damage to just step in there with that technical of a striker. It was bad news in my opinion. Till, on the other hand, another guy where you don't know the headspace he's going to be in. I was watching Till on a video talk about his fight with Kelvin Gastelum at 244, and he didn't even want to fight, man. On fight night, he was like close to telling Dana that he didn't even want to walk out there after coming off the loss to like Masvidal getting knocked out. And getting dropped with Woodley and stuff. When you're a young guy like that, on top of the mountain, undefeated, to take 2 losses, get knocked out in front of the world like that. I mean, I get it. I get the headspace that he was in. I'd be scared to come out there. It was kind of a lackluster performance for him, but he's been asking for this fight with Rob for a minute. Till has huge size. I have no idea how he even made 170 pounds. I have no idea how either one of these guys really made 70. They're both huge, to even try to get down to 70. Both of them's chins let them down some, man, I don't think the fight goes to decision. Both of them have great left hands. Darren, more of a, 1-2 lunging in with just a power left. And Rob, you got to watch the left when you're exiting the clinch and stuff. He throws his a little more like Jorge did that knocked out, Till and stuff. The left he threw against Brad Tavares reminds me of that a little bit. I think Darren's a little more technical, uses his length really well, and I think he's strong as shit at welterweight, man. I was watching a video of Tyron the other day talking about even at 170, Darren Till he's known as a gorilla for a reason, man. He's a fucking tank. I heard he is super strong. If it gets in the clinch, I think Till will be good, man. Back and forth. I love both these guys so much, but I'm going to lean toward Darren Till, man, to get this one done.
So I'm with you. I think that Till, the odds are in your favor if you bet for Till, because it is, for me, a pick 'em. A couple of things that you mentioned Whittaker's losses at 170, which was a KO, and then him coming off of his most recent KO to Izzy. I think that the KO from Izzy was inevitable. I mean, when you go an hour in the cage with Yoel, your chin's not going to hold up the same. But in that second fight with Yoel, I saw some improvements with his striking that I hadn't seen before. And I just don't think he had the opportunity to use some of those skill sets against Izzy because he's such a different fighter from everybody else. Very similar to Wonder Boy, Izzy and Wonder Boy. They have a unique style of striking, and they're very, very long. With Till, I watched an interview with him earlier this week, and they asked him, what are some of the improvements you made from your last fight? He said, no improvements, still just the left hand. Oh. And I think that's really funny, but it's also going to be his downfall. You have to watch out for the left hand and the occasional left high kick that's telegraphed and everybody blocks. I like Darren in the fact that he is an absolute force. He's going to move forward. He's bigger. He's got the power. And if he touches you, it's game over. But if Whittaker utilizes his oblique kicks like he did against Yoel in the second fight, it's going to be a problem. Darren's heavy on his front foot, and if he's charging forward like that, I swear if Robert can utilize that oblique kick, it'll make Darren second guess on all of his attacks. He's gonna have to switch it up, and if it's still just the left hand, I see Whittaker getting this done.
That was a good read, man. You're right about the stance there from Till. It's super Muay Thai or karate based, real wide.
Almost Conor McGregor-esque.
Yeah, super super heavy on that lead leg, man. And you're right. A well-timed oblique kick could really do some damage there. Like you said, brother, it's a pick 'em, man. I saw a ton of value on those odds from Darren Till, but the fight is not that. It's so much closer than that, man.
I agree. That's why I'm only with you for the Darren Till bet, because of the odds. Because in reality, you're right. I think that it'll end up closing closer to a pick 'em.
Absolutely, man. What's your bets for the night?
So just to go down the list, you think?
Yeah, just a quick recap off the top of your head if you got them.
Yeah, man. So I'm going with Nathaniel Wood in the first fight, Ramazan Emeev in the second fight, Pani Khamzat in the third. I've got Tanner Boser in the fourth, Movsar Evloev in the fifth, Tom Aspinall in the sixth, Nicolas Dalby in the seventh, Jai Herbert in the eighth, Khamzat Chimaev in the ninth, even though I'd like to see Rhys get this done, Peter Sobotta in the 10th, Paul Craig via sub. God, man. I'm gonna stick with my original bet and go Marina Rodriguez, but that's a tough one. I don't like that bet. I wish I wouldn't have done that. And then I'm also gonna go with Gus. I like dogging him out a little bit, but I'm gonna go with Gus there. He's the better fighter. Shogun by knockout, first or second round, and then I've got the Reaper. I've got Robert Whittaker for the win.
Man, I'm right there with you on all of those, except I think I am going to lean with Cowboy Oliveira to get that one done. I don't like the layoff. I don't like the weak body and how much kicks that Oliveira throws. And then I got Darren Till there. So only two disagreements there. But, man, for me, as far as like actual betting wise, I got two underdog plays on Darren Till and the Jai Herbert. And they got the Dalby and Ronson fight under 2.5 at dog odds as well. And my two favorites, I do have some money on Panny to get the job done against Betch. And then my biggest play of the night, I got a lot there on Gus at the minus 315 there.
Yeah.
And,
keep going.
I was just about to ask you as far as like, who should we keep an eye on Saturday night? Who's that for you, man?
Okay, so to keep an eye on, you got to check out Khamzat. I mean, shoot, man, if you have the opportunity, please watch him fight, because I think that's just going to be a clinic. I really do. But he's the fighter to watch because he's the future of that division. So
I agree. And they're building him up, good in my opinion. They weren't giving him somebody that, in my opinion, was a real threat to beat him.
Right. And then secondly, I'm really curious as to how Nathaniel Wood comes back. He can be a superstar in the UFC. The UFC just has to not baby him, but not set him up for a loss against John Dodson in his third fight. So depending on how he comes back, that's somebody to watch out for too, because he could have a lengthy, an awesome career in the UFC.
Nice. My fighter to watch is Tom Aspinall, man. I think that's a great, youth resurgent in the heavyweight division, a great frame. He's huge, and a guy that I think they kind of gave him a cupcake to put some respect to his name and get some eyes on him there on Saturday night. But I battled back and forth with picking between him and Whittaker, to be honest with you, man. Coming off of losing the belt, just, back and forth on his mentality and if he wants to be there or not. He says he's really wanting to be there and that he's eager for this fight. So, man, Whittaker is somebody that are really excited to see back in the cage on Saturday. What's your best fight? What do you think is the fight there of the night? Doesn't have to be what you think is going to be the craziest fight, but what's the fight you shouldn't miss and tune into?
Don't miss the Werdum Gustafsson fight. That's going to be it's either going to be an amazing knockout or we're going to see Gus, be a little bit taken back about moving up to heavyweight. Yeah. I've never been a fan of people who are retiring and then coming back. We just saw that with Gus, so I hope he's got the right mindset, and I hope he comes in fit. Right. That's the biggest thing. What was that?
We've seen Latifi, we've seen OSP, we've seen Gian Vellante, all of them, man, 0-3, trying to move up to the heavyweight division. So
it's not easy. They're big boys up there. So it's
for me though,
that's the fight to watch.
It's the main event. I feel like that's going to be a hell of a fight, man, and not so much maybe for Robert, but if Till goes out here and gets a win inside the distance, I mean, the argument's there for him to get the winner of, the next one, maybe fight, the Joker, and then the winner of that one, gets the belt. But, I don't know what's going on with Cannonier and stuff. He's been super inconsistent. Haven't heard much about him, but I figured he might be first in line too. I'm a big fan of the middleweight division. I'm glad Darren Till moved up. That's a super good fight. I'm glad they made that one.
To go off that, do you think Till offers Izzy any problems?
Yeah,
he's fighting Paulo Costa right now, which I think brings similar power, but he swings from the hips. Where Darren, he's saying it in interviews that he's got one thing to look out for, and Izzy is a striker. If Darren's not going to take him down, I don't like that matchup.
Is
Huh?
that just Darren Till saying that though, just to be himself?
I was saying it before he said it. He just wanted to confirm it. Yeah, only got the left hand. So what?
I man, Izzy and Costa's a hell of a fight. That's
That scares the piss out of me. I don't know who's gonna win that.
It scares the piss out of me for Izzy, but it's a perfect one for Izzy to land some of his nice kickboxing, combos and stuff on with the hands being low. But man, Costa might just eat that shit and walk through it.
I know it's a different promotion, but Izzy's sole loss is off of a crazy hook, and that's all that Costa throws. So
that one, fight for us to break down in September, bro. Can't wait for that one. But man, going down this Saturday night, Robert Whittaker, Darren Till. It's our last stop on Fight Island. First official episode of the Early Weigh-In podcast. Big plans going forward, man. Follow us, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. They're at the Early Weigh-In podcast. Gonna get a website going here pretty soon. Gonna have some merchandise on there you guys can order, have it sent to your house, man. Big plans for the podcast. I'm excited going forward, man. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, same. I'm just excited to start this with you. It's been a long time coming. So
absolutely, man. Awesome night of fights this Saturday night. Hope everybody's able to watch them. Hope everybody catches some bets. Take care.
Peace.